Live from the Taylor Strength Bunker with your hosts, the Strength Director Danny Taylor and Thomas Ronald Wakin. Gentlemen, the bar is loaded.
Welcome back to The Bar is Loaded. I'm Danny Taylor.
Thomas Regan.
In this episode, we are pitting two lifting styles against each other. This is the equipped versus raw episode. SmackDown versus Raw. Terrible. Fantastic times. Equipped lifting versus raw lifting. You're probably watching this now thinking, oh, well, if you're a non-powerlifter, that is, what? This is in relation to powerlifting.
Yes.
This is essentially two different ways that you can lift, and one of them is more assistive. Assistive? You're our liaison.
Yeah, come on.
You're our language liaison. Assistive, if it is incorrect, let us know down in the comments. Assisting, one is more assisting
than the other.
Yeah. Assistive, we need to see if that's a word, don't we?
I don't think it is.
In the season 1, we used to be able to just Google stuff, but Scott doesn't want me tapping on the keyboard, so I'll behave. Thanks. So one is technically more, or is definitely more assistive. Assisting.
Well, that's going to be that's a new word now. Assistive.
It's has your mic dropped down?
No.
All right.
No. I had to move it because Scott told me to move it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. We've got to see the beard in its full glory, haven't we? I should have put your mask on, so you've got an extension of your beard there. And then we've got raw lifting, which is associated with non-assisting
equipment to an extent.
Right. So, all right. What is equipped lifting?
So, equipped lifting would be like squat suits, deadlift suits, wraps, bench suits.
Yeah. And there's, by the way, there's different classifications of equipped. You've got like semi-equipped, where you would maybe we'll say like raw with wraps, and it's like where do you
line?
Yeah, so that's one of the points. Where do you draw the line? What's actually classed as like being more assistive? It's got to be a word.
Yeah,
it's got to be.
We've got it because it's
what's more assisting?
Yeah,
that makes more sense to me. Is that more assisting? And again, where do you draw the line? But we'll come to that. So what is equipped lifting? You mentioned squat suits, deadlift suits, bench shirt, where you walk out, and if you're watching this, you'll be able to see. You look like you've got
T-Rex arms.
Yeah, all fucking 2 logs under your arms, like you're on the juice. And these are tools essentially to allow you to lift beyond your natural means.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can overload. You often are able to get a significant increase. Yeah, way more than what you could do without any of that gear. And I think it requires a lot of skill as well. Like there's from the small amount that I've seen, and it is small in the grand scheme of things, even though I've been in the game for a while. And I've never actually personally done it. You haven't either, have you? No. This is, I guess, a biased point of view, but we can only give our opinion with what limited knowledge we have. Yep. I have coached one lifter. Apologies, that is another email, but I can't because we've got the whole shebang on. What I'll do is I'll just there we go, volumes down. Okay, Scott. He's giving me the disappointed dad eye there. But, you've got to practice, mate, haven't you? For the baby. What about my baby? Equipped lifting. I watch you and I cringe, honestly. And you've either got to be two. You've got to be two. There's only 2 types of people who do this. Psychopaths. People who just absolutely mental and have lost it. Or people who are like immensely brave. Yeah. Actually 3 people. People who are immensely brave. And then the third, which seems to be the most common as well, are people that are so injured from raw lifting that they have to use equipment to actually even lift. And it's funny, but it's sad. Because it's like, without that, you are fucked.
Yeah.
And if anything, like it's it's like putting a plaster over a cut, like, but then still trying to get at it. Like, it's never going to heal. You know what I mean? You're just kind of masking it, masking the problem. You're covering the problem up.
Loads of people will be listening to this going, "You chatting shit."
If you disagree,
no, they will, because I know.
Problem.
I think equipped lift, you've got to have like.
But I did say that is like just one type of person who does it. I don't really know anyone who just like delves into equipped lifting, like just does it a little bit because they feel like doing it. Yeah. It's usually like they're totally mad, like they are extremely brave. Yeah. So that there's, fine.
Fucking
loads of courage there, knees popping out and all. I've seen some horrendous injuries. Yeah. Or you're that injured that you can't do these lifts without that level of support from the equipment. So what is the equipment? Like, what is the gear? It's apply material, often like layered as well. So you've got these different classifications of equipped where you might use single, double, or triple ply squat suits or shirts to be able to lift more, and it depends on like how much range of motion you can get, because obviously you've still got to go through all the same ranges of motion. That being said though, and I'm calling out every single fed, because the calls for equipped lifting are fucking bullshit.
Awful, aren't they?
When you're a raw squatter, you've got to fucking sit on the floor, and then because someone's got wraps on, they can do a fucking half squat and get away with it. Fuck off.
Yes. I remember watching at IPF Worlds, and they were being so harsh on the lifters.
On the raw lifters?
Yeah. I didn't see I don't know if IPF do equip.
They do.
Yeah. I haven't seen them, but they were giving like raw lifters like 2 reds and a white lifer. And like they're obviously going
sinking them.
Yeah, they're sinking them. Stop being so fucking.
And then the equipped lifters come on.
It's a quarter squat.
And they're passing fucking high squats.
It's a joke.
It pisses me off.
It's a joke.
This is one of the reasons why we left the IPF, because the standard. I mean, there is no fucking standard. Like, it's a mess. It's all over the place.
Yeah. They got too big for the boots, didn't they? And they didn't know what to do about them.
Yeah, and there just seems to be like a little bit of a click up top as well.
Yeah. Look at the USAPL.
What's the deal with that?
Well,
they're IPF affiliated.
They are IPF affiliated.
What are you referring to?
So it's recently come out, well, as of recording this, that if you got a lifetime membership for like $2,500 for a lifetime membership, then you can go to nationals without qualifying.
I've seen this.
Without qualifying in a regional.
So you could you could have zero experience, go to nationals.
Basically.
And be competing against the best.
Yeah. Who've actually fucking worked hard to
earn the right to be there.
Yeah, exactly. To go through.
That reminds me of the British University Championships, where there's no qualifying procedure. There's no comps that you that you can do prior, and they're letting people fucking turn up without singlets and shit. And I'm like, or like miss weigh-ins, and I'm just thinking, this is supposed to be the fucking creme de la creme of powerlifting. Yeah. We're out. Yeah. But then I've seen similar behaviour in other feds as well, where they're passing high squats and that because they know the lifter. Fucking grinds my gears, clicky. If anything, if I know the lifter, I'm probably being like extra harsh.
Yeah. Well, I remember when we did Battle of the Bar here. I think it was number 2 or 3.
Hodgie.
Oh, that was harsh.
Charles Hodgie.
Yeah.
Teammate. How do you feel, Charles? How do you feel, Hodgie?
Yeah,
Are you over it? Let us know in the comments.
And we watched the video again, didn't we? Remember? And he went down.
Oh, right, yeah. So the rule states that it's got to be an auditory and a visual command.
But he visually did it.
Yeah.
And then he said down after he put his hand down.
I think it's harsh. But look, it is what it is. It gets called very quickly. It's hard being in the hot seat, and I've done like mock comps and stuff before, and like I've sat in a Battle of the Bar as well when like the refs have gone for a shit. Me and Danny Lee have just jumped in. And it's hard. Like, you've got to call a lift as you see it in that exact moment. And if you don't know, the rule is that you've got to give the benefit of the doubt to the lifter. It says that in the rule book. And I don't know what that's IPF. I don't know what other feds say, but I imagine it's something of that ilk.
And make sure to compete when Richie's not a side judge when you're squatting.
Look, Richie's harsh, but he calls it as he sees it as well. People are crying about Richie, but just do the squat correct
properly.
Depth.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? Just do the lift as it's supposed to be completed, technically. So equip lifting before we move on to raw. We said semi-equipped, which would probably be something like squat raw with wraps.
Yeah.
So to define that,
singlet with wraps.
that isn't a raw squat. I hate the way this is like an Americanism now.
Yeah.
Raw with wraps is 100% an Americanism. It's not fucking raw if you've got wraps on, because you get so much more out of wraps.
And sleeves.
The tension, the tension you can put into a wrap, and you can ask Mr. Adam Roberts, because he's fucking wrapped my knee and your knee. Oh my god, the pain. And you've done some as well, haven't you? One or two. Anyway.
Wrapped.
If you're not in pain when you're doing the wrap squat, then the wrap isn't tight enough.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've eavesdropped Adam saying to his lifters and some of ours when he's wrapped them.
Yeah.
And it's what the wrap does. It essentially creates that much tension around your knee, is that it's trying to always extend your leg. Yeah. So it's very difficult to flex at the knee. And this is where like a lot of people might get injured and stuff, where the knee hyperextends, or they don't walk the weight out and they're just instantly under that load when the knees are trying to lock.
Yeah.
So that's where it gets like yuck. And you've seen people blow the knees and stuff out. Mark Bell is one of the most famous people.
Yeah, and he went forward, didn't he? And he
went forward, snapped his leg.
Yeah.
Here's another one.
I've seen a few where they've just like
Brandon Lilly. Doesn't even do powerlifting anymore. He's like a fucking kettlebell master, something like that. He's like our fucking body weight now. It's like getting into. He's not our body weight. He's about 100 kilo now, and like he's lean as fuck. Looks totally different. And it's a risk you got to take. Obviously, there's so many other things that can be taken into consideration. But if you are pushing boundaries, you are risking injury. Yeah. Even more so. And if you're wearing a piece of equipment that is designed to assist you in moving some of that resistance, in holding some of that load.
It's not raw then, is it? It's
not raw, and it's even more dangerous if, for some reason, I don't know, the wrap comes undone and then your joint is under a massive amount of load instantly. Yeah. This is why people are fucking like blowing the knees out, meniscus tears, knee literally dislocating your knee, fucking breaking your leg, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I remember when going back to Adam, when he wrapped my knees, it was like a lightish wrap.
Yeah.
And oh my god, the pressure on my calf. Like I thought my calf was just gonna rip.
It's pretty intense, like.
Yeah. And I squatted with it, and I was just like, I can't fucking do this. Like, and I haven't put wraps on since, because I know I won't be able to.
Yeah, me with my obviously knee injury history, it's just a no from me. Yeah. However, then you can kind of squeeze into small sleeves and receive some similar benefit, but much lighter and much more comfortable.
I'd like to try the deadlift suit though. I think I want to try
Adam's
that.
got one.
I know it's too big for me, but I think he wants to get a smaller one.
Yeah.
So if I can fit into that, I'll try it and see how different it is. But then again, it's like all the strongmen use them, don't they? Like 4 use
a lot of them, yeah. A lot of them.
I think did 4 use it for his 500 kilo?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he did. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see what I could do with equipped lifting, but I just don't.
Yeah, I think the deadlift is probably a bit of a safer one, given it gives you better leverage at the hip.
You can just drop it as well, can't you?
You can just drop it. Yeah, you're not under load.
Yeah,
there's no compression.
Yeah,
so you've just got to watch out for things like pressure in the hammies and the quads, I guess, for like tears. I've seen a couple of hamstring tears and stuff over the years, but that can happen even with raw.
Yeah,
because of the stretch reflex and the hammies and stuff.
I just wouldn't. I don't know. I think that the risk is too high for me to even try it compared to the raw.
We're injured enough.
Yeah, we get injured enough.
I definitely am. Like, I'm good. Just to wrap up what equipped lifting is then, these pieces of clothing, these singlet looking things, or if it's the squat briefs and a squat suit, knee wraps, bench shirt, they're all very restrictive pieces of material that are literally limiting your range of motion to allow you to lift more weight. Yep. So you've often got to force yourself into that range of motion, or into that depth, or into that position to be able to get the bent. Like if it goes wrong, it goes really wrong. Yeah, so it's a very fine line. So I know I kind of had a dig at equipped lifters earlier on, if you like, when I was saying you've got to be, one of 3 types of people, but in the same light, you've got to be so fucking technical, probably like Olympic weightlifting technical, in terms of like your bar path, in terms of your setup, in terms of even getting the equipment on. Everything's got to be fucking precision.
Yeah.
For you to be able to successfully lift, because you're putting yourself in such a vulnerable position otherwise. If you're slightly off on your bar path, we'll use the bench press as an example. With equip lifting, it goes one of two ways. If you misgroove on the way down and your elbow comes in or out, I guess it'd be in. It'd come in. This is where the shirt would pull it in. The bar would roll onto your neck.
Yeah.
Fucking dead. People die.
Yeah, I've seen
people die. I've seen it rolled onto people's necks before. It's fucking. When people are doing equip lifting, I've got to leave the room. Yeah. And before you go, and then if it goes the other way, the elbows flare out, the bar goes forwards, crushes your ribs. I've seen both. It fucking makes me cringe, man.
Yeah.
And you're lifting something significantly more than what you can do naturally. And I'll use Will as an example before you give me your point.
Go on.
Will Freeman Dunn. Big bencher.
Massive bencher.
Bench specialist, right?
Yeah.
Got like a 192 all-time raw PB. Puts a bench shirt on. He's benching 230.
Yeah.
I was fucking terrified. I had about 7 spotters on him.
Yeah.
And I'm holding the bar, guarding him down as well, just in case it rolled.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
So it can put a lot on your total.
Yeah.
Equipped total. What was I going to say? Oh, Adam. There's been times where I've seen Adam like wrapping up, and he's just said they're not tight enough and just unwrapped, and then you have to fucking wrap them up again, and then it's just like it seems so much hassle for so little benefit. In my opinion, anyway. That's in my opinion. Like, I just couldn't be arsed doing it.
It all comes down to wanting to do more and lift more, doesn't it? Ultimately, and this allows you to do it. Ego, you could say. Yeah. You could say.
But then, is it a specialist?
You could say competition. You could say like where the standard is. Yeah, you might see a gap there.
I was going to say, because you could. That's like like you got powerlifting, and you got niche, a specialist in powerlifting.
It is specialist lifting, yeah.
Specialist lifting.
And again, like, obviously we've kind of been taking jabs here, but it requires massive amounts of skill. You've got to understand how the equipment works.
Yeah. I've seen people...
Can't just get in it and do it.
No, I've seen people wrap up in Whitehorse, and I'm just like...
The fuck's that?
You know, what are you doing? And then not only are they not fucking... Are they wrapping up properly, but they're not squatting to full depth either, so they're just doing like half squats in wraps, and just like,
99% of people aren't going to know that what they're doing there is
really bad.
Not good.
It's worse for you putting wraps on.
Just to like spin that, there can be like times where that could be beneficial if you work, but largely you're probably not doing that for a specific reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit mad, isn't it?
I remember when I was in Proflex. And I was wrapping up because I seen loads of other people wrapping up, and I was like, I obviously didn't get any benefit. This is when I first started, you know what I mean, and I just didn't get any benefit from them whatsoever. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Have we wrapped up equip lifting? Would you say?
Yes, I think
like
so.
That?
Yeah.
Get that on a t-shirt.
I think so.
All right. Well, in part 2, we're going to talk about what raw lifting is, our baby. And we're also going to talk about the main differences between, and then we're going to talk about where you draw the line.
Okay.
But yeah, we need to go for a shit, don't we? So, see you in a minute. And we're back. It's part 2 of equipped versus raw lifting. And I know we've just taken a 1-2 jab at equipped lifters, but in the same light, we also complimented them. So, if you feel differently about what we've said, enlighten us. Let us know down in the comments. Equipped or raw? Why? Why one or the other? What experiences have you had? Or why do you even do equipped? At what points did you go from being in the sleeves or no sleeves and going, yeah, that looks dangerous, I'm going to do that? I think it's a powerlifting thing, you know. I think powerlifters are like, yeah, what can I do that's going to compromise me more?
What am I going to do to hurt myself more?
Right, yeah, it is a proper power. Just generally, the whole powerlifting population. What can I do to hurt myself more, yeah? Yeah, lift like a bastard.
What can I do to make myself more injured?
Right, yeah, it's a proper powerlifting thing. Get tight. I'm too tight, so I can't do that. Get tight. Anyway, raw lifting. What's raw lifting?
Raw lifting would be sleeves, wrist wraps, and a belt, and squat shoes.
What's the difference between raw and raw?
Raw is naked knee.
And where'd you draw the line? How do you define the two? Would you say it's truly raw to be in knee sleeves?
Yeah, you don't get that much benefit from them.
Don't you? I feel like I do.
Maybe 10 kilos. Yeah, you have extra small sleeves.
Well, I wear smalls in training.
Oh, small. But do you
competition extra small? Yeah. So it's the equivalent of a light wrap, but I can get them on.
Yeah, I can't.
Skinny legs, less muscle mass. Wraps would probably be more beneficial for me, but given the knee injury history, the knee sleeve for me gives me peace of mind. It gives me confidence, feeling tight, warm support around my leg is like, I feel like I can do anything.
Yeah.
You do get like that tight rebound, as you said, like that tightness as you get into the bottom of a squat as well. The sleeve goes tight, and it's almost like a cue for you to come back up as well. So I know when I reach a certain tightness in the sleeve, it's my time to come back up.
Yeah,
you know?
like a little. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, get that rebound to bounce back up. You hit depth.
So you know what we're talking about, the equipment that you just listed there. That's classed as raw lifting.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's mad?
Yeah, because you've still got aids.
It still assists you in the lift.
Yeah.
Obviously, nowhere near as much as what like a squat suit would, or squat briefs, or knee wraps. But like the next point was like, and we mentioned this earlier on, where'd you draw the line? Like, how much more supportive before it becomes classed as borderline equipped?
I think it comes down to probably the fed that you're in.
Yeah, so like BPU, you've got classic raw, which is raw with wraps.
Yeah.
But if you wear knee sleeves, you're at a disadvantage. But you're still raw with wraps. You're still in the classic raw category. And if you're raw, it's a belt, wrist wraps, no support on the knee.
But that's raw, but you've got wrist wraps on.
Right. So again, like,
what's the difference?
How do you distinguish it?
Wraps probably give you more support than knee sleeves.
I disagree. See, I used to use wraps a lot for bench and squat. I don't use
them anymore.
And then over the years, like you, stopped using them, and now I get more.
Yeah.
Now I can do more without them, and I don't know why that is. It's mad. I can't really put my finger on it.
Maybe it's like a placebo effect, like a psychological effect.
I just felt like at the time I needed to get all the gear, but I had no idea.
You know, when I put wraps, when I bench and I put wraps on, I really fucking hurts like here.
Yeah, I've had that before.
I wear
why stiff 1 meters.
Yeah, I'm just like, why do I need to wear them? So if I'm going for a one max, I might.
Yeah, a comp. Yeah, I'll wear them
because you're getting an advantage.
There's I guess I don't know if there's ever been any studies done about these things, wraps and wrist wraps in particular. I'm sure there has. And if there hasn't been, then I'm interested, if anyone's listening to this now, to do one. You can use our lifters if you want. Yeah. Sure, they'd be on board when we reopen, but we're open. We should be open.
Yep.
Creates more tension. Surely it gives you a firmer grip. It prevents, mainly for me, I'm thinking it prevents hyperextension.
Yeah.
But if you've got strong forearms and wrist flexors, you won't hyperextend. And if you're doing the lift correctly, your wrist won't turn back anyway.
Yeah, because you want to punch the ceiling, don't you? So
you'll kind of have these bottom knuckles pointing up.
Yeah.
And you'll have a stacked wrist. You'll kind of sit it in the palm heel rather than higher up your hand and creating another pivot. And then you've got the squat, and it depends on like your width. But I've seen people like with and I used to do it, really close grip. And it looks like it's so far down the back, but it's because the wrists are fully hyperextended. Yep. And it's like you're holding all that load in your joint. In your joint.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's dangerous. And I had a lifter who broke an arm. Squatting like that. Sarah. Spiral fracture. Due to the pressure. She had a
tennis elbow.
Little bit of a background of like problems in the elbow. Can't remember specifically what it was, but as a result of that and this position and the load going into the joint,
just snapped. The fracture.
The humerus took the load.
Oh, here?
Yeah. The humerus took the load.
Oh, okay.
The compression.
Yeah.
There was that much pressure. Arm just snapped.
Jesus Christ.
So you could even argue there that raw lifting has its risks. And to be honest, I think we did say that earlier on. Like both, if you're trying to push the envelope of both, you're increasing your injury risk massively.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, for me, I don't think I'd ever go like raw. When I mean raw, I mean,
would
with nothing.
I would. You know, since I started doing weightlifting, and I stopped wearing anything, and I've only just put my knee sleeves back on after 2 years, and I feel like a god, and everything's like gone up now. Confidence, placebo, no doubt, and a little bit of support. I honestly reckon I could. I reckon I could do it now.
I mean, one of the things I haven't done for the last 12 weeks is wear a belt for my squats.
I think
See if
all feds should either have, they should classify it. It should be like what you've just said there. Raw should be what it says on the fucking tin.
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Maybe a belt. No belt.
No belt?
No belt.
Belt stabilises your torso position, helps you stay upright.
Yeah.
It assists you. No wrist wraps. It assists you. And no knee sleeve. It's a support.
Yeah.
Like nothing.
Literally nothing. Just your human
if I started
body.
my own fed, that's what it'd be.
So you'd have raw.
Yeah.
Assisted sleeve.
I'd maybe call it classic raw.
Classic raw.
Classic raw. That'll be what the IPF is now.
Yeah.
And then you'd have
Quick.
classic semi, which would be raw with wraps.
Yeah.
And I know this is a lot. So you'd have to try and logistically, like, it'd probably be a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. But like, this is the only thing in my head which I'm like, this is fair, you know?
Yeah. You didn't even mention straps either.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can't use them in comp though, can you? Strongman you can.
Strongman you can, yeah.
But powerlifting, not allowed whatsoever.
No bueno.
No bueno. Huh?
What about the singlet?
Singlet, well, it's not supportive. It's probably detrimental to lifters because it reveals like depth, and it reveals what's the eyebrows for? Reveals other things as well. We all look fantastic in our singlets, don't we? In our chipolatas. Okay. It reveals like your actual fucking depth. Depth can be deceiving, or can look deceiving in like baggy shorts, or if someone's got a fucking baggy t-shirt on.
Yeah.
So the singlet allows the referees to judge the lift correctly. So I think the singlet's necessary and should be used across the board, which it is.
Yep.
And that's the reason why the singlet's there. It doesn't give you anything. It has a psychological effect, of course. When I put my singlet on, I feel like I've got my armour on. I'm ready for battle.
Yeah.
You know? So it definitely has that placebo effect, and I'm sure if there's a study made, that would be correct. I think in terms of, you could probably at the very least say less friction deadlift.
Yeah.
When you arch on the bench press, it's easier to see the connection between the shoulders and the glutes on the bench. So that's easier to call if you're a ref as well. Or if you're videoing yourself and you need to be able to see that there's contact with the glutes. And then I guess for the deadlift, the only detriment would be like if it got caught on the bottom of the singlet or something. That's the only thing I can think. But less friction for sure if you would usually wear basketball shorts to deadlifting, you know. It might just get in the way, or joggers. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say. I'd say that the singlet's definitely not supportive. It just obviously it's a piece of fucking,
it's a uniform,
piece of life, and we all look very special in it.
Jacked and tan.
I love putting my singlet on. I look boss in my singlet. My ass, proper bubble butt.
Not with my dad bod.
Dad bod, yeah. Dad elite. Where do we draw the line?
Where
would you draw the line? To fully
for me
where it is now, would you say that's fair? The way it's classified. If we're going to use IPF as an example,
IPF, yes.
I agree.
Yeah, belt, wrist wrap, sleeves.
Yeah, that's one.
That's one.
And then the other is all your assisting, whatever it is, the kit that gives you more.
Yeah, this if you want to use a suit, use a suit.
Yeah, the suits.
If you want to use a wrap, use
the
a
wraps.
wrap.
Yeah,
because if you're gonna do half-arse it and just do wraps, what's the point? Just do the whole fucking shebang.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
So, and then And then no one's getting any advantage because you've got everything at your disposal. I know it's going to be expensive to get all that stuff, but you've got everything at your disposal. There's no like grey area with it. You all use it or you all don't use it.
When lifters do these massive lifts, is it right, would you say, for people to call them out as cheating?
No, because it's still an organisation. It's still an organised federation.
They're competing against people who
are doing the same thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
It is often called out, though. People are like, oh, that doesn't count because you've got squat briefs on, or that doesn't count because you're wearing wraps, or that doesn't count because you've got this X, Y, and Z on.
Well, if you're getting an extra 100 kilos lift, like 100 to whatever kilos, to someone who's a raw lifter, and you're going around saying that you're the fucking strongest person in the world, you're not.
Yeah.
And that's where
you're just kidding yourself then.
Yeah, and that's where it gets. But then you'd be like, oh, yeah, but you've only got like a 300 or 500 kilo.
I'm just curious. And if you do equip lifting and you're listening to this, or even like a rap squat or something, how close is your raw total to your equipped? I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
How close is it? Because I've never actually seen a comparison. So how close is your equipped versus your raw?
I wonder if you get like an extra 20, 30 kilos from like your squat and deadlift.
I'd say a lot more. I'd say once you're experienced and you've found the right equipment.
Will got 40 on his bench.
After about a few weeks, like 2 weeks, and I think, or 3 weeks, and we were faffing. He didn't even have the right size shirt. It was too loose.
Yeah.
And bench, it's like a massive jump as well because you're using smaller muscle groups. So it's even more impressive.
Yeah, so
that's a massive percentage increase.
You think you get an extra what? 100, 200, 150 kilos?
I don't know. I think I've seen some fucking colossal lifts in gear.
Yeah.
I've seen people benching like 360 kilo. Madness. In fact, isn't the world record like 5 ton?
I'm not sure.
It's 5 ton. Equipped. Madness.
That's ridiculous.
Madness. Do you just feel like you're being crushed at all times, surely?
Yeah.
This is where like I've got some admiration and also fear for these people.
Remember in the summer when someone went for the world record? And they misplaced the plate. Misloaded.
Yeah. Pector.
Was that
equipped?
That was equipped. I'm sure that was equipped.
Right.
And I'm guessing he got a pector because he was so tight and tense that one. And he was.
I think even if that was raw, that would probably happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Misload.
But do you think it made it worse that he was wearing, or do you think it was?
Definitely worse. Given that if you're wearing equipment, you're wearing that equipment because it supports you to lift a weight that you wouldn't be able to do naturally.
Yeah.
And then if something goes wrong and your joint's got to take the load or something, then push comes to shove. You get a pec tear, you blow your shoulder out, you break your arm. I've seen broken arms, people doing it. I honestly, if you ever see me at a comp and there's equip lifting going on, there's one place you'll find me, out of the butty van. I just leave the room. Everyone like congregates round to watch. I can't watch it because it fucking makes me cringe.
I know some people have dived into equip lifting here as well, haven't they, with the wraps?
Well, yeah, but it's not equipped, is it?
That's true.
Yeah, not fully. This is where you've got to distinguish it and draw lines.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think the APBU, in my opinion, needs to change their categories.
Yeah, I'd like them to see.
Here.
I would like to see them do something with the whole knee sleeve, raw sort of thing. Introduce it into that category.
Yeah.
Or add a layer. I don't know. I think there's enough lifters out there who are doing squats and sleeves now where you could just classify them on their own.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't run the BPU. Emma does, so Emma knows. And I think if she thought that it was going to benefit the BPU, she probably would have done it by now. She did ask us and our lifters if it was something that we were interested in. Everyone was like, yeah, sick. Like, we all wear sleeves. We don't want to wear wraps.
Yeah.
And then it didn't happen. So I imagine it is a numbers thing. It's probably just not worth it for them. Yeah. There'd be no competition.
Yeah.
Cases where athletes have cheated pisses me off when they enter raw categories and then wear squat briefs underneath the singlet and try and pass it off as undies.
I've never seen that happen.
Someone got... Yeah. I've been in a comp when it happened. This is a local, regional of all things. Like, who the fuck cheats at regionals, by the way? Lowest of the low. What? Why? Like the QTs, the qualifying totals, they're so low anyway.
Yeah.
Like, what are you? And you're strong, so what the fuck?
You would have smashed the qualification.
Right? Yeah. Ego. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Someone, Chinese fella, he was wearing squat briefs under his singlet. He'd done his lift. Centre ref obviously seen it. Does a quick lifting himself.
Yeah.
Bryn Evans, this is. Not fucking soft. He's got a good eye for it. Been in the sport for at least 20 years, I'm going to say. Maybe longer. Refed hundreds of comps. And called him out on the platform, pulled his singlet down. And fucking squat briefs on. Instant disqualification. That was it. He was out.
Did you see the one that went viral? The Russian guy?
Was that the one where he was wearing wraps under his sleeves?
Yeah.
And it's not the only one. I've seen it happen on a number of occasions. I've never seen it in person. But I've seen a couple of accounts of that and reports of that.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
Do you know people that have like double sleeved?
No.
Do you think that happens?
No, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like extra small.
I know people who've like just either been stupid and not known, been totally ignorant to it, or been very smart and like attempted to keep the wraps on.
Yeah.
And then put sleeves over. And it's like,
fucking
hell. I'm not sure how much more you would get out of it, you know.
What's your opinion on, like, so for me, for example, I can't get smalls on or extra smalls.
Yeah.
But people in my weight class
I can get extra smalls on.
Do you think that's a disadvantage for me because I can't get them on, even though someone's the same strength, the same standard relative strength to me? Or do you think that's just the rules?
I think it's just the way it is. Like some people, like me, my physiology, like, and I'm a hairy dude as well, so they just slide up my knee really easily. Some people just can't even get it past the calf.
I can't.
So like depending on, you've got big calves as well. I've literally got fucking noodles for legs, literal breadsticks, absolute cheese string.
But if we were in the same weight class, you'd probably get more benefit from the smalls than I would from mediums. If we were in the same weight class,
again, it depends. Like if I do have longer levers, then that means that it might suggest that you've got shorter levers, therefore you've got greater muscle mass. Yeah, across that, you're shorter range. Yeah, greater muscle mass. You can build more muscle through that range.
Yeah. Do you think like doing raw?
How long we got, Lid? 5.
So do you think doing like raw has its benefits to
I think
just wearing sleeves?
Yeah, like it gave me so much confidence, and just knowing that I didn't need any support to be able to do these things, I think gave me a real idea of where I was truly, like where my actual real life strength was. You take all that shit away and go into the street cold and then try and do these things without your gear. What are you? Like, can you do that? Are you actually really truly strong, or are you only strong because you're really reliant on the gear?
Yeah.
So I think it's good to be realistic and take the gear off every now and then and just do the work and be like, yeah, I can do this confidently without, but I'm going to choose to do it with because I'm going to use it as a tool to assist me. I think number one, I think the take home here is like, regardless of whether you're equipped or raw, just practice safely.
Yep.
Practice safely. If you have to wear the equipment for a reason, to prevent injury or whatever, do it, but also address the injury.
Yeah. Don't just
protect yourselves.
Yeah.
Protect yourselves. Wear the belt to help you brace to protect your back, for example. Yeah. Definitely. I think that's important.
That's one thing, if we've got enough time today, like
got
people,
2 minutes.
But I think people, including myself, probably rely too much on a belt. I
think so. I think there's not enough beltless work in athletes' programs. We do specific beltless work in ours.
Yeah, and I think that's what Chad Wesley Smith does.
This is where a lot of back problems come from. A lot of back injuries will come from weak cores.
Yep.
Or people with, like me, desk jobs, at a desk all day, kind of hunched over position.
Look at me now. My
getting
back's
tight.
like fucking...
Getting tight.
Yeah.
Fucking getting weak as shit. And then go onto the gym floor, not training abs, blow me back out.
Yeah.
Although I do train abs. Quickly then, would you ever do equip lifting?
I did think about it at one point,
Tempted.
but then when Adam put them sleeves on, I was like, them wraps.
All right.
I was like, no.
Equip benching?
No.
You ever done a slingshot?
No.
Try the slingshot. We'll try it at some point together.
Yeah.
I've done it on my own. Fun, but dangerous.
Yeah.
I think you'll really like it.
The slingshot?
No, like just, being able to lift like 15, 20% immediately more than what you can do without is like, you feel mega.
I would like to try the deadlift maybe, just because...
Well, yeah, you mentioned that,
Yeah, because it's less risk.
I'd maybe give the deadlift one a go at some point. Definitely not doing the squat one. No fucking way. And I wouldn't do the bench one either. Stick to the slingshot, thanks.
Yeah.
And that's all we got time for on this week's episode. That absolutely flew. Thoroughly enjoyed that one, though. Equip lifters, please don't hate us. It's just our opinions. We're not going to do it, though, are we? So enlighten us with your experiences and opinions. Why do you do it?
We did say it was going to be a biased episode.
It is biased, and that's why we feel the way we feel.
Yeah.
Fear, maybe. I don't know.
Scary to fucking lift them weights.
Yeah, and requires a lot of skill. So kudos to you, mad bastards.
Yep.
I've been Danny Taylor.
Thomas Regan.
See you in episode 9.